So today's topic is GL concept. So I'm going to create the project quickly with GL concept. So to create the project, go to Tools, Customization, IMG, Project Administration, create the project. Let's go here. Then save the project, go to Scope, specify the scope. So whatever the steps we require for the GL concept, we need to select it. Active business functions, then enterprise structure, definition, financial accounting, edit, copy, delete, check company code, then financial accounting, global settings, ledgers, fields, define field status variant, assign company code to field status variant, then fiscal year and posting periods, assign company code to fiscal year variant, posting periods, then document, document number ranges, then tolerance groups, define tolerance groups. Close this. Now go to general ledger accounting, master data, GL accounts, preparations, edit chart of accounts list, assign company code, define account group, return earnings account. Then go to business transactions, document splitting, activate document splitting. So close this. Now go to controlling. Under controlling, general controlling, organization, maintain controlling area, number ranges and versions. So up to this point, whatever the steps we selected from the company code up to the end of the controlling area, all these steps are known as standard steps. In fact, whatever we are doing in existing R3, still we are following the same. But when you come across with S4 HANA in the GL concept, there is some additional notes also. That means additional configuration also we need to apply. Under conversion of accounting to S4 HANA, preparation under migration of general ledger customization, migrate general ledger customization, define settings for ledgers and currency types, define ledger for CO version, define document type mapping for CO business transactions, check default postings and controlling. That means total 5 additional steps we need to follow. Click enter, save it. Run project IMG and wait for 2 seconds. So like this every day we are whatever the topic we are taking, first we are going to add this into the project and then we are going to start our own configuration. So we need to get this update every time. Whenever you add a new node, you need to get this update. If this update is not if you do not get this update, that relevant nodes is not added into your project.
So I have one doubt here.
Hmm.
Um, you said whatever the configuration nodes we need to add, we need to add to the under project. So if I don't add those nodes under the project, system will
Hmm.
not allow to do the configuration or just
No,
for
no, no, no.
our uh,
There are
that
two things. One is standard implementation guide, it is there. But
correct.
instead of following the standard implementation guide, I'm recommending you to create your own project. The reason
Okay.
behind this is if you go to standard implementation guide, there is lot of notes are there, thousands of notes are there. So it is very difficult to follow and it's not easy to remember the steps. To
Correct.
avoid that confusions and to avoid that confusions, now we are creating our own project.
So this project came after S4 HANA or it's earlier it
No,
was
no, no,
there?
no. It is there in existing R3. It's not
Hmm.
only in S4. Same procedure it is there in existing R3. But lot of people they are not following this.
Okay.
So directly you are going to throw IMG like this we are moving. But that is not a recommended action because there's a lot of hundreds, thousands of notes are there. It create a lot of confusion to remember the steps. So
Hmm.
this is easy method. So now only first time when you are going to create, when you create a project, you need to add this project to work list. No need to add every day.
Oh. So control find pet TRM continuous. Okay. Yeah. That's it.
Now I added my project. Every day, no need to add like this. So,
Hmm.
say for example, tomorrow I'm going to explain about new concept. Directly go to spro underscore admin, open your project and add whatever the notes we require and directly execute your project. This is only for the first time. So
Okay.
now it is easy to navigate. Say for example, if you go to enterprise structure, what step we require? We require only one step, which is called edit, copy, delete, check company code. So we can easily remember the concept. So if you want to take the print, let us take the print. Say for example, you are doing the practice with GL concept. So this is the first session. So after end of the session, what I am recommending is create your own project or use my project. So select this node, click on node with subnode, select documents with project documentation, click enter, take print preview. First of all, do this every day before moving. Go to list display. If you are not able to connect to your printer, just take in PDF format. If you are able to connect to your printer, just print this document. So while we are going to follow step by step, keep the document carefully and read the content and then do the step so that it is easy to follow. Like this for every topic you can follow. No need to write the notes also.
Correct.
Come back. Now let us start our own configuration. Our main task is we are going to create the GL and also we are going to discuss two things. One is standard customization. Standard customization means already you know as a FI consultant. The same we are applying here also since we are following the greenfield implementation. And delta changes. Delta changes means the only changes occurred in S4 HANA relevant to GL. So that means every configuration, every concept includes two types of configurations. One is standard customization and number two, delta change. So activate business active functions. So first of all, before going to discuss your project, it is recommended. That means topic wise I am moving what business active functions we require. Say for example, today we are discussing about the GL concept. What business active function we required only to GL. Tomorrow I'm going to explain about money market. What business active function we require for money market. This you need to remember because the technical team will ask you what business active functions you need. So because of that, go to business active function. Here there is four business active functions are there in order to activate the finance applications and GL concept. Number one, EA-fin. This is quite common for all finance applications. EA-fin, financial extension S4 core functionality finance applications. So you need to activate EA-FS also, but this is for Treasury. So later you can activate. Right now we don't require. Let's come back. So I want to implement GL. So what business active functions I require? Finance EA-fin is a common factor, common business active function to activate all finance applications. So especially for the GL, you need to activate FIN underscore GL underscore CI 1, 2, 3. These are core functionalities for finance applications for GL. After activating these four functionalities, then start your own configuration. So in the standard customization, go to enterprise structure, definition, financial accounting, edit, copy, delete, check company code. Edit company code, new entries, create your own company code. I am giving as TRM. I'm not
Sorry,
giving any name.
uh, sorry to interrupt you, but the one which four business functions you said, did you activate it or it's already been activated in the
No, no, no,
system?
no. In trading systems, it will activate. But in real-time system, you need to ask your technical team to activate.
The base system.
We are basis team
Yeah, thanks.
because we don't have the authorization to activate it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, correct.
So enter the company name, country, run it.
Here I have one question.
Hmm.
How we will get to know which business function should be activated for these kind of activities? Because there are so many business functions are there.
Yes, situation wise, conceptual wise, there is different types of business active functions are there. That is the reason first I am going to start with business active function. So
Mm-hmm.
after completing your training, you can understand what business active functions according to our requirement.
Okay.
Because it is very difficult to remember the list. Some
Mm-hmm.
people are, when I was going to explain, some people will ask me, sir, why don't you give the list of business active function? Even if I give like that, it's not possible to refer from your side. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever we are able to understand the business active function, what business active function means, conceptually, if you go, then it is easy.
So you will make us understand how we should get to know which business function is
Yes.
needed.
Yes. When you are going to start with money market, what business active functions we require for money market? We need to understand. So
Mm-hmm.
like that, foreign exchange, what business active functions we require? First of all, we need to focus first on active in a node edition of the project. Second point is you need to concentrate on active business function. Then start your configuration.
Mm-hmm.
Then come to financial accounting global settings, ledgers, fields, define field status variant. Here there is a very small change. In fact, this is not considered as a change. Select 0001, copy, change the field status variant into your own field status variant. Copy all. The change is when you select this field status variant, if you go to field status group, in existing R3, all the field status group starts with G0, right? Remember the point?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Here it is starts with G0. But when you come across with 1809 of S4 HANA, up to 1709 also, it is G0 only. But from 1809 of S4 HANA, the G0 has been replaced with YB. So functionality wise, it is still same, but only the description is get changed. So instead of G001, G003 like this, it is replaced with YB01, YB03 like this.
Okay.
Come back. Then assign company code to field status variant. Go to position, take your company code, take your field status variant, save it. Then come back, go to fiscal year, assign company code to fiscal year variant. Directly you can assign the fiscal year variant. No need to create anything for this. TRM. I am following as per Indian company code with V3. So April to March with 4 special periods is a quite common feature as per the financial regulation. Save it. Now come back. Go to posting periods. Define variant for open posting periods. Create a variant. Save it. Then assign variant to company code. Save it. Come back. Open and closing posting periods. Enter the posting period variant. New entries. So it is that means this posting period is valid for all account types or only restricted to specific account type. So I want to validity for all account types because I'm going to use GL accounts, I'm going to use customer accounts, and also I'm going to use material management. Sir, where we are going to use material management? Especially there is a new functionality in treasury management which is called trade finance. So without creating the purchase order, you cannot move forward with trade finance applications. So material management is also required, which is simply say that commodity functionalities. So I require all types of accounts. Then period 1, year 12. So this is common financial year from in between April to March as per my financial year. So 1 month is extended for closing of transactions, that means closing of books of accounts as per the Financial Regulation Act. If it is not sufficient, it is extended to another 4 months. That is the reason 13, 14, 15, 16 is considered as special periods. But period 3 is there. Sir, in existing R3, we don't have period 3, but now it is period 3 is there. It is not affected for greenfield implementation anywhere. Only in the brownfield implementation it will affect. Especially when we are working with management accounting in S4 HANA finance applications, whatever the CO business transactions we are taking from existing R3, if you restrict any CO business transaction for a particular period, that restriction period we need to enter in period 3 in order to do not to replicate in financial statement. Normally, it is not required for any greenfield implementation, and especially for Treasury, we don't require it. Set. Come back. Then go to document. Document number ranges. Either you can copy or you can create. Company code, intervals.
Sir, you have, I mean, as you have experience in this, what do you call greenfield implementation or my brownfield, whichever might be. But just I want to know that what kind of transaction you are going to restrict in period 3, sir. I mean, just for practical point of
Say
view.
for
Because
example, when we are talking about migration, let us leave the treasury management for some time. Let us come to finance applications. You are working in S4 HANA finance and your project is migration project. In existing R3, the CO data is get stored in one data architecture. Finance data is get stored in another data architecture. There are two different data architectures. That is the reason when you talk about COPA, there is two-side COPA is there, account-based COPA and costing-based COPA. You got
yeah,
my point? Okay.
yeah.
Now, when you come across with S4 HANA, we are using a single data architecture. That means here there is a concept called universal general, which stores the entire financial information. That means whether you post from management accounting or whether you post from financial accounting or whether you post from any other area related to accounting, it is get stored only in one table, which is called universal general. So you got the point, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you are migrating some CO data from existing R3. So you have taken all the information and you run the central finance application and you updated this CO data to S4. In this
Mm.
case, the company is saying that they don't want to execute some CO business transaction in S4 HANA after migration.
Okay.
So we need to restrict it. What you need to do is first you need to lock the CO business transaction and that locking period, whatever it is there, that we need to specify in period 3. So when you are going to execute a financial statement, the system execute all the CO business transaction in financial statement except that locked financial transaction.
Oh, okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Means just I want to know what exact which kind of business transactions we need. We have
All
restricted.
CO business transactions are available. According to our need, we are going to restrict it.
Okay. Thanks.
Then come to tolerance groups. Define tolerance groups for employees. Enter the company code. Enter maximum tolerance limit. While you are doing itself, you can understand this. Save it. So that means when we are talking about company code creation or global settings, do you found any new changes except the period 3? Period 3 is not affected. Let's leave it. Do you found any new changes? In fact, there is no new changes. So everything is like existing R3 only. We are doing the configuration. Now your company code is get updated with company code activity as well as your company code is activated with global settings. Now come to general ledger, master data, GL accounts, preparations, edit chart of accounts list. New entries, create the chart of accounts. Now in this screen, there is one point is missing. Compare with the existing R3. What is that point? What is the point is missing?
That cost element thing right now.
Reconciliation, right?
Yeah.
Reconciliation of creation of secondary cost element and primary cost element. Why it
Mm-hmm.
is missing means the answer is here itself. CO and finance, that means management accounting and finance applications are merged together with one single data architecture. Because of that, there is no dependency of the cost element to GL. In existing R3, if you want to create a cost element, first you need to create a GL and then you need to convert this GL into cost element. But now it is not there. Save this. In fact, in a lot of interviews, they are asking in finance applications. So why the reconciliation is not available in real-time integration of CO is not available in chart of accounts? The answer is simple. In existing R3, we are using two different data architectures. Now we are using a single data architecture. So there is no dependency of the cost element to GL items. If you want to create a cost element, directly we can create a cost element without dependency of GL. So that is the reason there is no CO and FI integration and reconciliation is no more required. Then SN company go to chart of accounts. Take your company code, take your chart of accounts, save it, come back, define account group. Even in Treasury also we require a lot of accounts. So better to maintain like this. Asset 01 to 100. Liability. So expenses 201 to 300. Incomes 301 to 400. Save it. In order to carry forward the profit or loss to balance sheet, we require return earnings account. Return earnings account. Take your chart of accounts. Enter X in the P&L statement, 1 in the account. Save it. Come back. Then along with this, it is recommended to deactivate the document splitting because we don't require that moment. If it is activated, it is not possible to post the transaction in initial condition. Go to deactivation per company code, check your company code and check inactivate.
Real scenario, we activate the document splitting, right?
If you have all the configuration, because the postings is required for document splitting. But initially we are in the initial position. We don't have posting. So if it is activated, it will restrict you while posting the transaction with item category. So that is the
Yeah.
reason to avoid that inconsistency, we need to deactivate initially.
Oh, it's normal processor or for this.
No, when you are doing for the first time configuration, after posting the transactions, you can activate it. No problem.
Okay. Thank
Then come to controlling, general controlling, organization, maintain controlling area, new entries, create the controlling area. Controlling area same as company code, currency type, currency, chart of accounts, fiscal year variant, and standard hierarchy. Then save it. So at least one component we need to activate. Go to activate components. In fact, we require the cost centers even in treasury management also. So cost center component active. Then go to assignment of company code, TRM, save it. Now while you are saving, system will show one message. Just remember that message. Later we can discuss about this. That means while coming the steps in delta changes. Company code TRM has not been assigned to the leading ledger. Ignore it, no problem. Ignore it, save it and come out. Close this. Now maintain number ranges. You can copy from the standard number range. Finally, maintain versions. Zero plan version. Settings for each fiscal year. Check your controlling area. Then save it. So, up to this point, this is called standard customization, meaning that there is no new changes for greenfield implementation to implement the GL concept. In fact, in existing R3, this configuration is sufficient in order to work out with GL concept. But when you come across with S4 HANA, this configuration is not only sufficient, we require some additional factors. That factors comes from conversion of accounting to S4 HANA. Preparation under migration of customization. Preparation under migration of customization for general ledger. Migrate general ledger customization. Why we need to run this step? The new GL is replaced with universal general. That means traditionally we have classical GL is there, new GL is there. After that, now we call it as universal general. So now we need to redirect all the new GL features to universal general features. Because of that, we need to run this step. When you run this step, automatically your migration for general ledger customization has been updated to new S4 HANA configuration, meaning that universal general. Automatically, all the company codes to ledgers has been assigned, currency settings as well as fiscal year, open period, and also settings for real-time integration between CO to FI has been activated. Run it, save it. No need to do anything. Just save it. So in existing R3, if you post any transaction, that means if you are in period end, all the transactions are get reconciled to 0L or not. You are working in period end. In existing R3, you are working in finance and all you need to close the period end. So if you want to close the period end, all the transactions are get reconciled to 0L as a reconciliation ledger or not.
Yes,
We need to reconcile, right? At the end of
right.
the day, before going to the perform the period end closing, all the transaction need to move into 0L, which is called standard ledger. So now this standard ledger plays a key role. Why? Because is in existing R3 we have classical GL is there. So in classical GL, is it possible to assign the accounting principles to GL? It's not possible. So because of that, the new GL came into picture. In the new GL, is it possible to assign the accounting principles to GL? Yes, it is possible. In fact, as per the financial conditions, that means as a finance person, we know very well every transaction need to record as per the accounting principle. This feature is not there in classical GL. Because of that, the new GL came into the picture. Okay. In the new GL, we have parallel accounting is there. Under parallel accounting, we have standard ledger is there. That means leading ledger is there, non-leading ledger is there. Why we have leading ledger and non-leading ledger? Two different ledgers means if my company is a global company, I am using Indian accounting standards, I am using US accounting standards, and I am using IFRS. It is not possible to assign all the accounting principles to leading ledger. Because of that, non-leading ledger came into picture. So what I am doing is, if my company is located in India, I am following accounting standards as per Indian standard. So I am going to assign the leading ledger 0L to Indian accounting principle. Now I want to assign the other accounting principles also. Because of that, I am creating a non-leading ledger and then I am going to assign this non-leading ledger to IFRS and other non-leading ledger to USGAP. Finally, the leading ledger 0L consists of Indian accounting principles, and also the non-leading ledger consists of IFRS, and another non-leading ledger consists of USGAP. Now, in the period end, we need to reconcile this non-leading ledger data to leading ledger or not. You posted with non-leading ledger with IFRS. You posted non-leading ledger with USGAP. So at the period end, I need to reconcile this information to leading ledger of Indian accounting standard with 0L or not.
Yes, we can.
We need to reconcile. Then only the final financial statement will be executed.
Correct.
So because of this, the non-leading ledger and leading ledger came into picture. So now think in other way. If the leading ledger 0L consists of multiple accounting principles at a time, do you require non-leading ledgers?
Right.
No,
Do you require
not
or not? It is not
no.
required. Do you require to reconcile the non-leading ledger data to leading ledger?
No.
That means the problem has been completely eliminated. That is first point. Second point is, in existing R3, if you see, you cannot assign multiple currencies at a time to company code. It is restricted to maximum of 3 currencies.
Right.
Company code currency, controlling area currency, and global currency. But when you come across with S4 HANA, you have an extension up to maximum of 10 currencies at a time. Meaning that in existing R3, if you want to use a fourth currency, we need to concentrate on currency changeovers. But when you come across with S4 HANA, no need to concentrate on currency changeovers. Directly we can use it. So that is second advantage. And the third advantage is, in existing R3, if you are working with FI and CO applications, the reconciliation between the CO and FI is always necessary in management accounting. Is that right? Reconciliation and integration between CO and FI. It is always
That's required.
necessary. So because of that, we are performing distribution assessment, allocation, and integration, so on. So when you come across with S4 HANA, all the CO business transactions are directly integrated with financial accounting, meaning that we don't require any integration or reconciliation between CO to FI in any circumstance, because now everything is in one data architecture. So these are the 3 changes that what they had uh, updated in S4 HANA standards. So define settings for ledgers and currency types. There you can find 2 changes. One is you can assign n number of currencies at a time. Number 2, the leading ledger 0L consists of multiple accounting principles. Take 0L, company code settings, double click on your company code. Now you can see freely defined currencies. Up to maximum of 10 currencies you can directly define. For this, no need of currency changeover. So like that, parallel accounting using GL accounts. I told you that the leading ledger consists of multiple accounting principles. Go to assignment of accounting principles and you can assign whatever you want. So I'm using IFRS, Indian accounting principles, IFRS, and I'm using USGAP. Now, do you require non-leading ledgers in this case?
Yes.
We
Not
don't require
required.
non-leading ledger. We don't require
Not
reconciliation between non-leading ledger and leading ledger, because every transaction, whatever you are posting, that is directly get updated to 0L. Then currency conversion settings for company code, new entries. Whether you have a currency conversion or not, because in future we are going to use this. So we need to convert it right now itself. Currency type 30, global currency, source currency, company code currency, exchange rate type as standard translation rate, transaction date. Make sure that real-time conversion is available or not. So that means we understand 2 changes in this point. One is You have a choice to assign n number of currencies at a time, and you have a choice to assign multiple accounting principles to one leading ledger. So the advantage is no need of reconciliation between non-leading ledger and leading ledgers, no need of currency conversions anymore in S4HANA. Then come to third change. Define ledger for CO version. For each and every controlling area, we require ledger 0L. That is the message it is showing while we are maintaining the controlling area. In fact, it is automatically assigned after doing this necessary settings. If you go to controlling area, you can see your controlling area is associated with the 0L. Meaning that whatever the transactions we are posting from management accounting, that is directly get updated to 0L. Then, what CO business transactions we are redirecting? Define document type mapping for CO business transactions. Copy this, change this according to your requirement. This is for real-time integration of CO to FI. All CO business transactions are merged with document type mapping variant. Save it. Again, come back. Then check default values postings in controlling. New entries. Take your company code. Company code in the sense financial accounting from the year of 1/4/2019. Ledger 0L, and all CO business transactions are redirected at company code level. Because of that, we don't require any integrations or reconciliations. So these are the three changes that what they had explained as per the S4HANA standards. Now come back. Test this. So if you want to test it, first of all, we know very well we require ledger. So go to FS00, create the ledger as per your company code. I am creating one ledger. Let's say one balance sheet account, asset, cash account, control data. This is only for testing. Our main concept is not GL concept. Balance in local currency, sort key 001. Field status group, we know that's it's replaced with YB. Save it. Like that, create one expenses account also. 201. Non-operating expenses or incomes. Expenses. Let's say salaries. Control data, balance in local currency, sort key 001. Create bank interest with YB01. Save it. Now test the posting whether your configuration is perfectly updated or not. To test the posting, go to accounting, financial accounting, general ledger, document entry. Neither you can use FB50 or you can use F-02, whatever you want. Take your document date, which is from financial year and posting periods. Posting date, company code, currency, posting key 40, account, expenses account, enter the amount, salaries, posting key 50, account 1, cash or bank account, star in the amount column, plus in the text column. As usually, like existing R3, how I am creating a ledger and how I am posting the transaction, I follow the same. There is no change. But now in existing R3, after posting this transaction is get stored in Flaggle table and BSEC table. But now it is replaced to Universal General. So go to SC16, type ACDOCA, which is Universal General table. Take your company code, execute. Now you can see both the transactions with ledger specific has been updated to Universal General and it gets reconciled. Come back. Then go to FBL 3 and 1s to check the entries. Check your company code, all items, execute. So finally we updated the GL accounts. Got my points?
Yes.
So this structure is mandatory before moving into the treasury management. Why it is mandatory means, say for example, if I am going to explain about money market, I will ask you to create some ledgers, and that ledgers require the complete structure of financial accounting. So you are working with treasury management in transaction manager, general settings. At the point of time, you have accounting. In the accounting, there is a link to other accounting components is there. So here what you need to do is, while we are going to define the account determination, so you need to take the valuation area. As per the valuation area, you need to update the GL accounts. Got my point? So to which account the transaction need to update. So if you want to update this, do you require the GL knowledge or not?
Yes.
Yes.
So that is mandatory in all the case. So that is the reason we discuss about up to GL concept. Now, if I ask you to create a GL account for money market instrument as a fixed term deposit, you know very well what is the configuration, how to create it. How to execute also you know very well.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, we are not focusing on historical finance, that means traditional accounting, but for the treasury and risk management, traditional accounting is one of the backbone because every transaction need to update in financial statement. Treasury and risk management is purely known as analytical finance, but without core finance applications of historic finance, that means accounting, there is no concept of analytical finance. Okay, so this is one part, and we require one more part also. As I already told you, accounts receivables. So that also we need to understand. Once it is done, I will give a brief idea about what is money market, what are the product categories falls under money market, what is foreign exchange, what is securities, what are the product categories part of the securities, so such as equity and debt, like the trade finance, what are the products under the trade finance, letter of credit and also bank guarantee, like the derivatives, listed derivatives, OTC derivatives. So we'll discuss about brief overview and then we will start our treasury configuration. Okay.
If you like our videos, then subscribe to our channel and be a part of the journey with GoLogica and stay connected with the latest videos.